everyone, my name is Izzy and welcome to another video. Since the month of March, which was my birthday, I have not bought any books except for the book of the month books. I have skipped books. I think I only bought one other book, which was It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover, because I really wanted to get into it. But other than that, since the month of March, I have not splurged on books. I have not gone to a bookstore and really treated myself until now. So I did buy a whole bunch of books for the month of November back in Black Friday sales. I did get a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 books. And on top of that, I will be unboxing my book of the month. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about some books. So the only thing that I'm going to talk about is kind of the book itself, why I got it, and why I'm excited to read it. I don't want to get into any summaries. I'm going to start with the smaller piles. So I'm going to start off with my book of the month. So I did get a total of, I think, 3 books. Some months I would skip, some I would get 1 book. And so this time I got 3. So I'm actually not even used to getting this big box. I only get like the small single book one. So here it is. And the one that I was most excited for is actually on top. So I was so excited to find out that one of the picks for the month of December was Babel by R.F Kuang. Oh my goodness, this book has been everywhere. Everyone is talking about how great this is. It was a nominee on the Goodreads Choice Awards. I guess because it was so big, they decided to include it on their list. I've been wanting to pick it up anyways, and so I decided to just pick it as my book of the month pick. So really excited for this one, especially for my love of languages. If you don't know, I speak 4 languages. I am a polyglot and I have a dual degree in French and Italian, Spanish being my first language, and then of course English being my most dominated language. And also I have taken some Korean classes and some Arabic classes. I do read Arabic and I do read Korean. So the fact that this book uses languages as like its main source of the plot, whenever I first saw like the title and like the cover, I knew that I had to pick this up. R.F Kuang wrote the Poppy War series, which I loved the first book. The second book was okay, and I haven't gotten to the third one. But my love for the Poppy War also, I think this is just going to be a great read. She's an amazing writer. She's very intellectual. And I think I might annotate this one. I used to annotate my books a lot. Kind of stopped because I don't know how long I'm going to have all of my books for. I do want them to be in good condition if I ever decide to give them away or to sell. But I think this is going to be a definite keep. So I'm excited to dive right into this one. So I have been a member of Book of the Month since I believe 2017. And every year they do pick like the #1 book of the year. They do allow members to vote, and so they also have like their nominees. And if you've been a member for so long, you actually get a free pick out of those nominees. So my free pick was A Flicker in the Dark. Again, this was kind of like a given for me because I've been a member for so long. This one was the one that was most interesting to me. I love thrillers. I love mysteries. I would say that that's like my top genre. In the back, it also says 2022 Book of the Year finalist. And the next book that I got is Lessons in Chemistry by Garmus. And I was gonna pick this up in audiobook on my Libby account because it was available for me to borrow. But I had remembered that it was also, I think it was an extra, or I don't know if it was a monthly pick for Book of the Month. And so I decided to hold off on it and get it as an extra. So I don't know much about this. I don't know anything about this, but because it was the top pick for Barnes & Noble, I decided to pick it up. So yes, these were the 3 books that I got from Book of the Month. So next up, I did get a gift card from Target, and they did have a little Black Friday sale as well. They had buy 2 get 1 free. I got 3 books. So the first book that I want to talk about is The Spanish Love Deception. Now, I was so mad at myself because I thought I was picking up the second book to this. I've already read this. I read this on my Kindle. I used to be a Patreon for Books with Chloe, and this was one of her buddy reads. So I'm not one to pick up a book that I've already read, no matter how much I liked it. I like to buy books that I've not read yet. I'm also not one to buy like different editions of a book. If I already have the book, I just don't see why I should buy it again. I did love it, so I mean, I can't complain. I got this by mistake and I'm just gonna keep it. I'll be picking this up. I'll be rereading it for sure just because I have the copy now. So the next one I got was Funny You Should Ask by Elissa Sussman. I got this because Lauren or Amanda from Loranda Reads, I can't remember who was talking about this book. I think it was from like a February. I think it was Amanda because I think she had like a whole bunch of pink books that she wanted to get through. And I saw this and the cover is just so stunning. And I do think that there's like a second chance romance, and I think that there's years in between as well. I mentioned in one of my videos that second chance romance is one of my favorite tropes, especially when there's like X amount of years in between, and it kind of just rekindles the butterflies. So can't wait to dive into this one. So the next book I picked up is Before I Do by Sophie Cousens. This one I just got because of the cover. It's purple. So yeah, no other reason why I picked this up other than the cover, to be honest. I know you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but here we are. Okay, so now let's get into the big pile that I have here next to me. I cannot unbox it for you guys because when I got it, the box was really ruined. It was really messed up. So I had to open it right then and there just to make sure that none of the books were in bad condition. These are used books. I got them off of Book Outlet. They had some books for $5.99 or less. So these books are, I think, in great condition. They're either used or they have like a dash of marker on them that kind of like lowers their value, but the content is the same. So I think that they're a great place to buy books from. The first one I got is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This is a paper mill press print. They print a whole bunch of classics in this like very similar kind of like leather cover. I've been wanting to pick up Frankenstein for a while. I remember reading this in high school and thinking I can actually read a classic and understand it. I think that's the case with a whole bunch of people, is that they're so intimidated by classics. They read this, they pick this up, and they're basically surprised at the fact that they can understand it. And I think that's my case too. I'm very scared to get into classics, but I really want to get into them, especially when they have prints like this that just makes you want to collect them. So that's the reason why I got Frankenstein, just because I remember reading it and actually understanding it. I will be rereading this. Hopefully I don't break the spine as much because I do want to collect more classics in this print. And this was originally $18, and the fact that I got this for $5, like, it's literally new. The spine hasn't been broken. I don't know how they managed to get books so cheap, honestly. Another classic that I got is Emma by Jane Austen. Never read Jane Austen before. Again, I don't really read classics. So the reason why I got this is because Bella from Throne of Pages, she was talking about this book as well. She said that Emma is kind of like a person that you kind of want to just strangle, like, and then at the end she was actually saying that she liked the character. Like at first she hated her and then she liked her. Very curious to see why. Again, I've never read Jane Austen before, so I did want this to be kind of like the first book that I pick up from her before I get into like her more popular ones, you could say. And again, this is also another one of those paper mill press copies. Spine isn't broken. It's like super new. I don't think it even has a marker on it. It is a little damaged from the top, but nothing too big. And yeah, I can't wait to get into some classics. Next up is Milk Fed by Melissa Broder. Don't know anything about this. Oh, I did get this because it has something to do with calorie restriction and calorie counting. So I have been a victim of calorie counting, and then I realized it doesn't work for me. It doesn't make me happy. And so really interested to see what this book has to say about that. The back says, a scathingly funny, wildly erotic, and fiercely imaginative novel about food, sex, and God from the acclaimed author of The Pisces and So Sad Today. So that already is another good sign. I'm a Pisces and she's written a book called The Pisces. So excited to get into this. I know there's a lot of unhealthy thoughts about food out into the world, and again, I've been a victim of them myself, so excited to see what this book has to say about that. Next up is The Rattled Bones by S.M. Parker. The top says, the feminist ghost story you've been waiting for. Always a fan of a good haunted ghost story, so that's the reason why I picked this up. The next one that I got is She's Too Pretty to Burn by Wendy Hurd. Honestly, I got this because of the cover. I think I had seen this somewhere on Bookstagram too, and also remember thinking that cover is really nice. It says, an electric romance set against a rebel art scene sparks lethal danger for two girls in this expertly plotted teen thriller. So yeah, also very excited to dive into this. So the next book that I got is The Two Lives of Lydia Bird by Josie Silver. This, I believe, is about a couple who has been together for more than 10 years. Lydia thinks that their relationship is indestructible until her partner dies of a car accident. I picked this up because I'm always in the mood for a good cry. And I myself have been in a nearly 10-year-long relationship. This is a Reese's Book Club pick. If you flip it over, it's just her sitting alone in the booth. That's so sad. So yeah, I guess I'm ready for a good cry. I'll let you guys know if I do or not. All right, next I got We Are the Brennans by Tracey Lange. This book is kind of a little dirty, but that's okay. It's shorter than I thought. I didn't think it was gonna be this short. And these are kind of like the markings that I was mentioning earlier. Some of them have just a little mark on them, like a little dot or a little dash. This one I got because, again, Amanda from Loranda Reads, she picked this up and she said that it was, I think she gave this a 5 stars. She was not expecting to give this 5 stars. And so I remember seeing this on Book of the Month. I think it was one of the picks. I didn't pick it up because I'm not very much into contemporary all that much, but because she was raving about this one, like she gave it an unexpected 5 stars, I thought I would give it a try too. And again, this looks like a really short read, so I might just pick this up like in between books and see what I think about it. The next book that I picked up is Where the Drowned Girls Go by Shelly McGuire. This is a book in her Every Heart a Doorway series. This is the 7th book, so there are 6 books before this one. This is an amazing series. I remember listening to the audiobooks and just being so entertained the whole time. I think their audiobooks were probably like 2 to 3 hours. These are very short reads, but they are just so interesting. And so I saw this and had to pick it up. I believe I read 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think I've read these past 2. And in the front it says, a mini masterpiece of portal fantasy that deserves to be shelved with Lewis Carroll's and C.S. Lewis classics. So yes, C.S. Lewis is the author of Narnia, and it definitely has Narnia vibes. Nothing like a good old fantasy world where drowned girls go. Next, I also added Ace of Spades by Faridah A. This one, again, Loranda from Loranda Reads raved about this, and I figured I would pick it up as well. It's been a while since I've picked up like a good fantasy novel, just because I have a hard time really learning about the world and kind of delving into world building novels. I don't know if this is one of them. This is kind of like the vibe that I got off of that, but they really loved this book and I figured I would pick it up as well. I don't know anything about it. I don't know what it's about. Something to do with cards. Also excited to pick this up. Next up, I also got A Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy. I feel like Lauren and Amanda were the culprit for most of these books because yes, I did also see this on their channel. I think this is a meeting a boy in a small town kind of read, and I did recently read It Happened One Summer, and I think it has very similar vibes. So very excited to pick this. It is a romance, and honestly, I don't think I got too many romances off of this pile. I got him in the Target pile. So very excited to pick this up, and if I do love this, then I will be picking up the other one as well. Next up, I got Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. I saw this. Where did I see this? I can't remember where I saw this, but I know that people were raving about this. Oh Lord, there's like very scary pictures on this. Some very creepy stuff. Oh yeah, this is definitely creepy. I am excited to pick this up. Oh my god, the copy is like so wobbly. I love a good wobbly book. It's pretty thick too. Ooh, and even the top says, I loved it. Stephen King. That's it. That's all he said. I loved it. Next up, I got Elektra by Jennifer Saint, the author of Ariadne. I read Ariadne and loved it. I have a vlog where I read it and I don't even know, I don't think I gave it 5 stars. But like rethinking about the content of the book and just, I feel like I want to give it 5 stars. And so when I saw this on there, I decided to pick it up because I loved that book. Very feminist, men are trash kind of vibe. The cover is very stunning. 3 beautiful women. I don't know much about Greek mythology, but I feel like you don't need to know a lot to be able to read these books and love them, honestly. And I think this is a quite new release from her too, so very excited to pick this up. I'm excited to pick all of these books up. Next up, I got Starfish by Akemi Dawn Bowman. This one I picked up because of Books with Chloe, or now Chloe Bunny. This was from a video that she did a while back. She basically read a random book from her bookshelf. So she did this thing where she had her subscribers pick 3 numbers, a number 1 through X, which represented the shelf, and then she asked for the second number to represent the row, and then the third number represented the book. So she counted from like left to right to see what book it landed, and after a few tries it landed on this one, Starfish, and she loved this book. She read it I think in one day. She really found herself represented in this book, having like either or identity of whatever race you are. In terms of that, I won't really relate to that because I'm Mexican. I am not American. I'm Mexican. But I do live in America. I do live in the United States. And so maybe I might see a bit represented of myself in this. So, and I also think that this made her cry. And again, because I love to make myself cry, because I like to put myself in emotional situations that make me sob and cry and wonder why life exists, wonder why we're in this horrible earth. I'm excited to pick this up. We are down to the last 2 books. Next up, I picked up the pilot. Next up, I picked up the plot by John Hanf Correlates. Ever since I read the premise of this book, I've been really interested in reading this plot and seeing if it really is the greatest plot in the world. Again, I don't know if they talk about it, but yeah, I decided to pick it up because it was cheap and I'm intrigued. And lastly, I got The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I have not read The Night Circus. I have never read anything from this author before. A Clockwork Reader raves about her books. Her favorite book for the longest was The Night Circus. That was like her top favorite book. She would always express her love for The Night Circus, but she raves about Erin Morgenstern. I have The Night Circus on my Kindle. I haven't picked it up yet. Again, I need to pick it up, and I figured I would get this physical, kind of motivate me to read her writing. It's funny because this is like the large print, and honestly the print is huge. Like, I don't need this to be this big. And this is another very floppy book. That is my book haul. All of the books that I got from Black Friday sales, and then of course my book of the month picks. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I know I personally enjoy people talking about books that they just bought for some reason. Like, just looking at this pile, like, I just can't believe I got this many new books. I don't know how the heck I'm gonna fit them into my little bookshelves here, but there's just something about buying new books that just brings happiness, and we could all use a little bit of that. So that is my reasoning for buying all these books. So as always, if you've enjoyed my content so far, please give this video a big thumbs up. That would greatly help me grow in my channel. Also comment what was the last book that you bought, and if you don't know what to comment, just comment a whole bunch of books in the comments down below. Fill the comment section up with the book emoji. I will be listing all of the books mentioned down below as well. There will be a link to my Goodreads as well as my Instagram account that you can go follow. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.